This is Lori McIntosh with Rustic Ranches Real Estate, and I am so lucky I get to talk to Gary. Forgot your last name. This happens to me every time.
Caps.
Caps. That's so easy too. I can say that. Gary Caps, and he is the owner of Tre Pazzi Trattoria in downtown Auburn, almost Central Square. We're on High Street, right? Or Lincoln.
Well,
It,
mail,
it
mail is
splits.
mail is Lincoln, and we're on High Street.
Okay.
That's just the way the old towns work.
That's right. It is an old town. And I wanted to talk to you today about your restaurant, obviously, and how you got here and why you live in Auburn, what you love about it, and go for it. What do you
Okay,
think?
I
Thanks.
think that's a good question. How'd I get here?
Yeah.
Totally by accident. I'm a real estate broker also. A buddy of mine was trying to find a house up here, invited me up from the Bay Area, Marin County. I was living in Marin County at the time, and we found him a house. He decided he was going to commute from the Bay Area and asked me if I'd like to stay in the house, which I did, and I ended up opening a real estate office here. And that was in 1987, 88.
How long did you do that for?
Real estate,
Yes.
I'm still a real estate broker. I still have an office in town. And my son Kevin is actually the broker today running the office.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. And now you don't really have to do it. You
Well,
get to relax.
not necessarily when you have a broker's license and you have questions. They're always coming off the floor. So
Right. And then this is your main thing, though. Work running the restaurant.
if it's, yes, it could be.
I know you know how to have a good time here. That's for sure.
Well, that's what the restaurant business is all about. If you weren't having a good time, then you should close and leave and do something else.
Right. Is it similar to owning a winery where you have to have a huge amount of income just to start some wine? There's some sort of saying for that.
Well, the start is not always the biggest expense. It's the ongoing expenses from the feds, the state, the county, and the cities. You find out you have all those people as partners, and their rates keep going up, their fees keep going up. And so as you move forward, you need to have a lot of big resources, big revenue core. And the one of the other things in the restaurant business too is every 5 years or less, a new piece of equipment breaks.
Right.
So it's always replacement. So initial investment is one thing, but the ongoing investments, it's huge.
Right. And then during COVID, there were supply issues. So you hoped nothing broke at that point, but you were closed. So it didn't matter.
Well, and that's the other thing too. If things aren't used constantly, they will fail.
Right.
Something will happen to them. So it's best to keep the machines running.
Like if you
That's
had
my
an Aston Martin, you don't want to just leave it in your garage.
no, exactly,
You got to drive it.
exactly.
Yeah.
You drive it every day
Yeah.
and don't go to work.
Go up to Marin County through the headlands. So, what do you think about Placer County versus Marin County? Because I live there too, and that was the early 2000s when I was there. Sausalito, Mill Valley, Novato, Belmar
Sure.
Keys.
Well, I grew up in San Francisco. And at the time I grew up in San Francisco, it was a very cosmopolitan town. And it had a great diversity of restaurants. The Italians were probably number one in my mind. Then you had the Asians, Chinese, and then of course the Irish. You can't miss the Irish because their pubs and their food. So it was a great place to live. After college, I moved to Marin and basically spent all my years to Marin before I moved up here. And Marin back then was more conservative, and now it's really liberal.
Mm-hmm.
And
I can't imagine it being conservative, actually.
not anymore, not anymore. Um, Back in the early days of San Francisco, prior to the hippies coming in, they had beatniks. The beatniks moved to Sausalito, Southern Marin. They were a little conservative, a little mixed, a little liberal too at times, but mostly artists and musicians. The hippies came in, and then next thing you know, Marin County was full of hippies. And then later on, it became 100%, I think, more liberal than it is conservative.
And you have to have a hot tub.
We all did.
Right.
The old wooden ones,
Yeah.
the old wine barrels, whatever it was, any excuse. Had somebody there blowing bubbles in the thing.
Right. And now you're here, Placer County in Auburn. Do you go to Tahoe a lot? Is that a reason why you liked it?
Um, when I moved up here, I was doing surfing and snow skiing, and snow skiing became and fly fishing. So snow skiing became the big thing because we were snow skiing forever. But since the restaurant, I stopped all those things.
Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
so I don't go to
sorry.
Tahoe as much anymore.
Right. Okay. So back to restaurants. You probably noticed there weren't many Italian restaurants. Didn't have a lot of competition for that. And I guess Pasquale's maybe was open before in the past. I don't know. But what made you decide to go for an Italian restaurant when you, or did you just happen to say, I'm going to open a restaurant? How'd that work out?
Well, growing up in San Francisco, we had a grocery business. Parents had groceries and delis, so we were in the food business, and we had all the Italian influence. So when I moved up here, one day, uh, my buddy that I met, he from San Francisco, opened up the Monkey Cat, and
Mm-hmm.
he and I were hanging around a lot. So he and I decided we should do something like a deli or something. And the opportunity for a restaurant showed up, and so we tossed it around, made a deal, and opened up Tre Pazzi.
Nice.
Yeah,
And do you go to Italy very often?
I go to Italy every year, except during the
Nice.
COVID years. Uh, so I go about for 6 or 8 weeks a year, pick
What
up
part?
recipes and good things.
Do you have a favorite area you like to go to?
I think when you're in Italy, if you stay out of the main cities and towns, go to the back countries, and it's favorite.
Right. I actually read recently that Milan is not the friendliest place for travelers. It's, they just don't want you there. But I've been to Rome and had a blast. And then the outskirts all around horseback riding trips.
Oh yeah, sure. There's a lot of
Yeah.
that. Yeah. Um, the equestrians, we tried that. We thought about that one time doing an equestrian thing throughout, but didn't materialize. But Rome's a great spot for nightlife
Hmm.
or never sleep. I've been to Rome one time for 8 or 9 days. I'm gonna go back this year. This year, yes, this year for probably 8 or 9 days. But to me, Rome is too city. I grew up in a city. I don't like it. The food's great, the sights are great, but there's better places, I think.
Right. Yeah. So I think when we were talking earlier, you mentioned Umbria. That's a place I've never been. Like I'd like to go Siena for just to see all the
Oh,
art, and then of course there's an endurance place where you can ride horses all around there. So
yes,
that's on my bucket list to go and check out. And maybe when you're there, I'll call you and you can tell me where all the good restaurants are.
absolutely. Siena's a great spot. I've got local friends here from Siena.
You
They
do?
grew up there, yes, and they're living here now in Placer County, and they come to the restaurant frequently. Their mom and dad come out from Siena. They come to the restaurant. She loves the food here. Um, yeah, Siena's a great spot. I've been there many times. Umbria, though, has been the quiet spot of Italy. Tuscany was famous, famous, famous. And when I first started going to Umbria, we had basically dirt roads, potted roads, and no signs. Signage was horrendous. No white lines, no lights, nothing. They learned from Tuscany, let's do something. So Toscana's encouraged Umbria to do something. So now it's a little more touristy.
Mm-hmm. People can drive their rental cars through there now.
Yeah, they don't do a very good job of that.
Right.
Yeah, and Orvieto is probably the most popular place in Umbria. It's a bus stop, train stop, and every tourist stops there. It's a great, great little
Is that
village.
more for the wine, the pasta, or both?
It's for everything. It's just got the great atmosphere. The people are generally really friendly, loving and caring, and there's some beautiful sights there. You see a lot of interesting things there. They have catacombs. They've got wells you can walk down into. A lot of interesting things. It's a good one stop.
Okay, I'll put that on my list too. I
Yeah,
think I've heard that. Yeah.
yeah.
So, do you have any favorite restaurants in Auburn that you like besides your own
Oh,
or close by?
Yeah, in Auburn, yes. I love Josephine's. Um, Eric and Courtney are great friends, so I enjoy going to Josephine's.
Yeah, they're fabulous. We went there for New Year's. It was amazing.
Oh yeah,
They outdid themselves.
they did a great menu.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It was better than going out of town
Yes.
or somewhere far away and having to deal with driving.
Yeah. If I go out of town, if I go to Sacramento, I try to go to usually the Water Boy, sometimes Ella. The Water Boy is kind of my favorite there.
Okay, have you
Yeah.
been to the kitchen?
Oh yeah, many times. Yeah, with groups.
Yeah,
And stay in the motel across the street because you can't drive home after that.
right, right. Apparently, they were in Arden Arcade. They used to be near the Cal Expo, and I had friends that would take their RVs
Oh yeah.
and park there. And I'm like, oh, I could take my living quarter horse trailer and just
Yes.
park
Yeah.
that there
Yeah.
because that's more comfortable because it's your own bed versus a motel or a
Sure.
hotel, whatever. And then walk.
It's a great
I don't know if
idea.
I want to walk there though.
Yeah.
Take an Uber down to a block to
Yeah.
the to
Yeah.
the restaurant, but they moved, so somewhere safer, I guess.
Yes. Yeah. It was getting pretty rough down there.
Right. If you're gonna spend almost $200 a person, you want to feel safe.
Yeah. And that's another reason why I don't go to Sacramento as often. And if I do go down there, I hire Uber. I
Yeah.
don't park, don't break my car.
Right. It's kind of a
Yeah,
nightmare.
it is. Yeah.
So back to your restaurant. What's your favorite dish? Because I want to tell you mine, and
Okay.
that's that wild boar.
Oh yeah, Chingali, huh?
Yes, it's kind of like on a flat. It's like a not a fettuccine, but
It's pappardelle.
pappardelle. That's
Yeah.
right. Obviously, I need to come back, so I'll remember that better.
Yeah.
Uh, how about you?
Well, people ask me what my favorite dish is. It's very difficult because 95% of the recipes I brought in from Italy or created something from Italy. So I really don't have a favorite. Right now, though, we did come up with a new dish just recently. It's we call it fritti gnocchi,
Mm.
where we fry the gnocchi on one side. We add some colored bell peppers and some Kalamata olives that we just kind of steam out a little bit so they soften up. And then we put arugula on top of all that, mix it all together, drizzle it with a little bit of balsamic, and you get all these different tastes. There's no pepper or salt put in the dish. The salt comes from the olives, the pepper comes from the arugula, and you get a little sweetness from the balsamic, and then the gnocchi just has a whole bit. It's a great dish. Everybody's tried it, loves it.
Okay. Well, I need to come back in. That
Yeah,
sounds really
it's a
good.
fun dish. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have a good soup, a really nice soup.
Yes.
That
Fact, we make our own chicken broth here, so we have stracciatella, and we also have brodo torto, which is tortellini in a broth with uh, broccoli and some tomatoes and a little pepperoncini in there to make it a little spicy. The Calabrians, which my family's from Calabria, we like it spicy.
Do you think people that come here that are not Italian, that are like a true American, can handle spicy? Because I feel like a lot of the restaurants. I mean, I'm married to a British guy, and he loves Indian food, right?
Sure.
He grew up eating a lot of that, and even this local restaurant, Indian restaurant that's new in town, they're just not spicy, and I think they're afraid that people can't handle it.
Well, there's all degrees of spice, so we can do it spicy or very, very spicy. So if we have a dish that's got some spice in it, we ask the customer,
Yeah,
would you like more? Would you like less? Would you like none? Um,
customize it.
yeah, so I don't know, people coming in here, that there's not really any dishes that are spicy. We have maybe half a dozen that we
It's
actually,
mostly just because you have the crushed red pepper or like arugula is already a kind of a spicy lettuce.
right,
So it's a hint of
yes,
spiciness.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, we try to be diversified here in the restaurant because all the creams come from the north, all the picantes come from the south, and then you blend them. There's more salt up north maybe than there's south, or south might have more, a little bit more salt. In the middle of Umbria, they don't use a lot of salt.
It's not
So
cut in half.
no, no, but some of the towns are.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like the United States. You can't really divide the North and the South just like from a line.
Well, I think what happened in Italy, basically, globalization came in, and globalization kind of screwed up Italy and a lot of other countries. There's a trend now to kind of get away from that, but there's still, if you get around like Milano and some of the bigger areas, you get this globalization foods that come from, you know, some Michelin star chef that wants to make something look fancy.
Right, like
Bake,
the Switzerland border. Like, how do you merge Italian and Swiss food together?
right?
I can't envision it.
Yeah, it's difficult. So like the Italian side, they only put three ingredients in their food that they'll tell you about.
Tomatoes.
Well, actually four of them. A little salt, a little pepper, a little tomato, and the rest is love. It comes from the heart, and they won't tell you anything else. So you have to figure it out. Sometimes you get a chef drunk enough, they'll tell you some of the ingredients, but they always keep one or two away, especially the knownness. They won't tell you everything. They don't even tell their kids. So you got to figure it out. You got to watch them.
So you have to give them a shot of limoncello beforehand, and then bring out the red wine, or
You know what? Limoncello's too sweet for them. Give them grappa. Make them burn.
oh god, I just had a PTSD flashback from drinking grappa in North Beach in San Francisco,
Of course.
and
Why not?
oh,
Some grappa is better. Like grappa is like there's hundreds of different types of grappa, especially
yeah,
the ones they make in their backyard, which is more like white lightning. And then
pretty harsh.
like Antonoria will put fruits in there, lemon, raspberry, and nah. There's some good grappas.
Do you have some grappas here?
We did until recently. I just sold my spirits license.
You did?
I kept my beer and wine,
Uh-huh.
but there hasn't been any releases on our type of license, which is a 47 here in this state. So I had a corporation that had been bugging me for like a year and a half that wanted my license. And once they met my price, I sold it to them. There's a lottery every year, but for the last 4 years, there has been no lottery for our 47 license. If there is a lottery, I'm back in it, of course, and get another liquor license. But since I import all my wines and my spirits were being imported, I only had 4 or 5 bottles of spirits, some gin, some vodkas. They don't make the brown stuff over there. If they do, it's not quite there yet. Okay. So
Okay.
it didn't make a lot of sense to have it.
Yeah. I'm
So
learning a lot here. So you can't sell limoncello anymore?
no. And this is how silly this California ABC, state of ABC is. You go to Napa, you buy a bottle of wine. It's 15, 16% alcohol. I got Italian wines, 14, 15% maybe, right? Aperol, which we make Aperol spritzes and we use Aperol in our Negronis. Aperol is like 11%
Right.
alcohol.
I
right?
like it.
It's great.
I can't drink a 15% Cabernet from Napa.
Exactly. So, as long as it's distilled, you can't have it unless you have the spirits license, which is a 41. 2%, 3%, is my understanding, and no more than that, no more than 5, I know for sure, is distilled of this bottle of Aperol.
2%.
2 to 3%.
Okay.
Because it's distilled, AB says you can't have it in your restaurant. So 11% alcohol doesn't mean anything because if you can buy a bottle of wine for 15, 16% from Napa, it's irrational.
You
totally
walk
irrational.
out with a hangover.
Yes.
Before you finish your dinner.
Yes.
And Aperol Spritz, I could drink 5 of those. Not that I would, but I mean, drink 2 and I'm feeling just fine.
Well, Aperol Spritz is like
good.
In the middle of the afternoon in Italy, you go to a place and you either have espresso or you have an Aperol Spritz.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like common thing. It's just like a Pepsi or Coca-Cola or soda of some sort. Right. But ABC can't see that.
I'm sorry. So
it's irrational.
It seems difficult to own a restaurant in the state of California overall. Like you just have to put up with a lot. Mm-hmm. But you grew up here and you know this is the best place to live and we're in paradise. So yes. You have to put up with it, right?
You tolerate it. If you look around, you'll see a lot of restaurants that have closed, downsized, if they could, relocated, downsized, cut back the employees. As we all know, this year, all minimum wage goes up. It's $20 dollar minimum wage in a fast food restaurant if you have 500 of them. So you go to get a McDonald's, what are you going to pay for a burger or Burger King? I don't know. You come in here and get a panini for $16 and a salad. I don't think you can get a burger for that anymore at the fast food.
I know.
So I don't understand. It's yeah, we have to tolerate too much.
We can't even have a glass of wine right now while we're talking just to get through it.
Yeah, yeah. If I had
Sorry.
grappa here, I'd drinking grappa in this interview.
Oh my god. Oh boy. So we'll slowly wind down now.
Okay,
We
yeah.
should talk about Auburn a little bit. Just the importance of people that live here should eat here, and shopping local, and just staying not just within Placer County, but the town of Auburn. Do you have some thoughts on that versus going all over the place? Which
Well,
people like variety, it's okay, but
when
have
I
your
yeah
go
when I
to.
when I first arrived back in late 80s, I got involved with the chamber, and I didn't like the way the chamber was. I had some ideas for the chamber, so I became their food and beverage guy for and running all the
Oh,
mixers
sorry, I missed that.
for 16 years. I did that. I was on the board for a while.
Wow.
I got in some other boards. I got involved with the city a lot, and the whole program was to shop local. That was
Hmm.
the core. Let's bring some more business here. Let's get some new ideas. So all those folks back then were concentrating on that. Took a while. Um, Economy, regulations kept things slowly developing, but nowadays I think people are more apt to shop local first, then go out of town. Uh, so I think this last holiday season, a lot more people shopped locally.
Hmm.
We saw business improving in the restaurants during the holidays. Prior to that, we're pretty slow because coming off of COVID and other issues we've had here. And
People got in their comfort zone of just staying home too.
yes,
They forgot how to go out.
exactly. Yeah,
And one
exactly.
thing I noticed about Old Town Auburn is a lot of young ladies have opened shops, like in their 30s. There's the Salt Lounge, and with Alicia and Cleo opened Typewriter and Moss, and has all these different local artists with their products in her shop. And then Christine has a shop, and there's Heather that has a used clothing shop, tons of used clothing,
Yes.
thrift shops everywhere down there. And
Yeah.
then and I only discovered this with walk the tour of both towns together for wine, food, and shopping. That I mentioned earlier, because my husband and I walked up towards downtown, and I'm like, I've never noticed all these shops. I felt really bad because I would go to Club Car to listen to music, and then go to the running shop, and that was it.
Yep.
So I missed out, and I think it's really key to have more of those events, not just once a year, but maybe once a quarter. I know it's a lot of work, but
Well, downtown, every the first Friday I think it is, it's shop local, and the stores stay open until 7, 8 o'clock at night,
mhm.
and that's been working fairly well. It's new, but it started I think maybe towards the end of summer last year. It's working fairly well. Cruise nights is a great opportunity for the businesses in town if they stay open.
Yeah,
Sometimes the people don't buy, but they see it, they come back, they
right.
remember it,
Well,
and
that's
that's
what
the
I do
key.
because I can't really shop with my husband. It's really annoying because he's like this,
Yeah, yeah,
rolling his eyes, like, "Are we done yet?" And then I just wink at the owner and go, "I'll be back." And then I do come back and I'll buy stuff by myself because it's too hard to shop with other people.
well, let's take an idea from when in San Francisco when I Magnus and Joseph Magnus during the holidays. They had the thing called the Lion's Dens, and you'd go upstairs as a guy to shop for your wife or girlfriend, and the girls would come up and give you a cocktail and help you pick out things. So if you're downtown with your husband and you want to shop, there's 3 or 4 restaurants that have bars that he can go and sit and enjoy himself and chat with some local people while you're shopping. So that way you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone, and you're shopping local.
Right, and most bars will have. He's not a sports guy, but they have big things called TVs, and then you can just watch a basketball game and they're mesmerized by it.
Yeah.
And then you can be like, oh my God, it's been 2 hours and he hasn't called me or texted yet. This is awesome.
I love it.
But yeah, if you're married to an American, you got it made. But
Yeah.
I'm not lucky. No, I am. Never mind. Delete.
delete. Yeah, cut this one out. Yeah.
So I guess the best way, people don't really need to reach you per se. They just need to come and eat in your restaurant, right?
Absolutely. We're open from 11:30 till 9, 10 o'clock at night during the week, and then on weekends 4:30.
9 or 10? That's really late for this town.
If people are here, we stay open. Especially
that's good to know.
During the winter months, when the road closures, we've had people stop on the way up and stuck, come in here, and we stay open for them.
That's
Give
great.
a little warmth, we'll hang out, no biggie. And we've actually had them sitting outside in ski clothes on a few occasions when it's been packed here and it's freezing outside, and they're in their ski clothes eating meals. So, yes.
Okay. What days are you closed?
We're not closed. Only the holidays, Christmas, New Year's.
Monday.
Super Bowl we close.
Okay. Super Bowl.
Nobody goes out on Super Bowl.
Right.
Nobody.
There's not many restaurants open on Monday, so that's good to know that people can come here.
Oh, you're open every Monday, yeah, for sure. Unless it's a holiday, like Christmas and New Year's, we had to close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before I finish, I wanted to take this camera and I'm going to show everybody what is going on over there. Who are those people?
Over there?
Tyler, yeah. Tell me.
Okay, Tyler and myself, we did a wine and food festival. That one was 2 years ago. It was up at one of my retail stores that I have, and Tyler got the idea we should have a photo taken. So somebody took a photo of us. And then he blew it up and put it on my wall. And the other guys behind Lori there, those are my golf buddies, and that was the Ridge Christmas party a few years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it. And I love it's nice to sit at the bar and just look at the video too. I like that you have that.
They're
you
all,
can see all these pictures of Italy.
Yeah. I've taken all the photographs. These are all my trips.
So now I'm going right for the tour here.
Yeah.
And there's your outdoor patio, which is great.
Yes.
And come and
occasionally we have the alley
during
the summer months.
You could go work out across the street at the gym, go buy a book, and then read it in here and start drinking.
Great idea.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Gary.
No, thank you, Lori.
Appreciate your time.
Appreciate